Function notation notes, day 2. All right, first, let's not forget that when we talk about f of x, we're really talking about y, right? It's your output. Let's look at example 1 here. We are asked to evaluate this function, f of x equals 2x plus 1, when the x is, and they give us a list, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. So just a reminder, they're saying f of x equals, we know this is the same thing as 2x plus 1, right? Just a quick reminder. Now, if we wanted to, we could do this the long way, right? We've got f of x equals 2x plus 1. When they're asking about each of these different x values, well, we could say, okay, well, what's f of negative 1? Well, you're going to plug in the negative 1 for x. You still got to add 1 there. This would give us negative 2 plus 1, which would be negative 1. We could do it with the next term. They're asking us of f of 0. All right, so I'm plugging in 0. 2 times 0 is 0, but I still got to add that 1, so my final answer here is going to be 1. Then we've got f of positive 1, 2 times 1 plus 1, okay, 2, that's going to be 3. And then last but not least, we've got f of 2, so we're plugging in a 2 to our equation, and then that's going to give us 5, okay? So my answer here, I've got negative 1 and 1 and 3 and 5. Now, that works, right? That totally works. Those are my y values, that's my answer. However, I really want to show you guys a way to do this that's much, much, much easier, and you're going to make fewer mistakes if you do it this way. And that is to use your calculator. So I'm going to call this calculator method over here. Okay. First, we need to understand that they're giving us x values. I can make a table from those. So negative 1 and 0 and 1 and 2 are all x values from my calculator. Now I need to find the y values associated with each x value. And I'm going to do that by typing this equation, 2x plus 1, into my calculator, right? 2x plus 1. Let's not forget it's the same as saying y equals. So in my calculator, I'm going to go right here to the y equals button. Okay, now I don't have anything in here just yet, which is nice. If you did, you would just press clear and that would get rid of it. And I'm going to type in this equation I've been given, 2x plus 1. Okay, now see this blue word right here that says table? My calculator will generate a table for me, but since it's blue, I have to press second and then this button right here. And that will take me to my table. Now notice, I'm looking for the values negative 1, right, and 0, and 1, and 2. So we're going to go to negative 1 over here. I have to click up to get it. So this value I need, right, when x is negative 1, y1 is also negative 1. So in my table, how about I'll do these in red, we also got negative 1. Okay, when x is 0, it's telling me that y is positive 1. Right, when x is positive 1, it's telling me y is 3. And when y is 2, when x is 2, I'm getting that y is 5. Now, obviously, you're given way more values here, but we only needed negative 1, 0, 1, and 2, right? Those are the only ones we needed, so that's the only ones that we're taking, all right? So my answer here is still the same, which, by the way, you're going to write them in a list like this, and those are my y values, right? That's how we evaluate this function. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy and paste the directions for this calculator method. So if you want to, on your own time, go and figure this out here, or sorry, go and copy this down, you are welcome to do that. Okay, so we're going to move on to problem number 2. Remember, if you're copying those instructions, just pause the video. Question number 2, same thing, except now I'm just going to do it my quicker way. I'm going to make a quick table out of x's and y's. My x's are negative 2, 0, 4, and 7. And I'm going to plug my equation into y equals. I'm going to go over here to y equals again. Now I'm going to press clear to get rid of my earlier one. And I'm going to type in x squared minus 4. Okay. And now I want to fill out my own table on my paper, so I'm going to go to the table in my calculator. And I need negative 2, so I got to click up. There it is. So when x is negative 2, y is actually 0. When x is 0, y is negative 4. When x is 4, y is 12. Okay, and then when x is 7, y is 45. All All right, so those are my y values that I was looking for. Now my answer is going to look like this: -4, 0, 12, 45. Okay, remember, these two get switched when I write on my answer because we always write our answer from least to greatest. Least to great. There we go. Okay, the next two problems are very similar. All that we are asked to do is what we've been doing, except then make a mapping at the end. So I'm going to go through these fairly quickly. All right, we've given an equation. We're going to make a quick table. We've got x and we've got y. Okay, the x's are -2 and 0 and 2. Here's my equation, 3 minus 6x. So that's what goes in my calculator. Clear this out. We got 3 minus 6x. I'm going to go to my table, so second graph, and I'm going to fill in my values. Okay, -2 is giving me 15. 0 is giving me 3. And 2 is giving me -9. And now, instead of writing our answer as a list like we did up here, we're just making a table with these answers. So my x's are on the left, and from least to greatest, -2 and 0 and 2. My y values are on the right, again from least to greatest. They're going to go -9, 3, and 15. So all I got to do to finish is just connect these points. -2 outputs 15, 0 gives me 3, and 2 gives me -9. And we're done. If you want to pause this video and try this next problem, you're welcome to do that. I'm going to go ahead and go through it here real quick myself. All right, we've got an equation. We're going to put that in our calculator. 5 plus 2x, y equals 5 plus 2x. Okay, now I'm going to go to my table. And on my paper, let's see, we're looking for x's and y's, right? When x is -1 and 0 and 1. So I'm getting when x is -1, y is 3. When x is 0, y is 11. Is that right? Oh, sorry, 5. When x is 1, y is 7. Okay, so we've got x's, we've got y's. -1 and 0 and 1, least to greatest, right? 3 and 5 and 7. Okay, so this time it actually works out that our arrows are just going straight across, right? -1 goes with 3, 0 goes with 5, and 1 goes with 7. Okay, so that's a little bit of mapping practice. And then last but not least, we've got a word problem here, right? A real life situation where you're going to need to find out the cost of something. This problem kind of describes how we came up with the equation, but then it also just gives us the equation, which is kind of nice. Nope, this is not for you guys. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to read this. Lexi had her car towed when it broke down. It cost her $3.50 per mile to have it towed, plus a flat rate of $50. The function for her cost was C of m equals 3.50 m plus 50. All right, now these first two sentences, when we get to Unit 4, we're going to talk about how to write the equation ourselves, but they went ahead and they gave you the equation after they described how they came up with it. So if she had it towed 32 miles, and m represents the miles, how much did it cost her? Well, C of m equals 3.50 m plus 50, right? This was my equation I was given. And they just told me that m represents the miles. So we're going to have a 32 in here, right? We're going to have a 32 for the miles. Now, everything else stays the same, right? C of m, this is just notation. 3.50 is still in the front there, and we still have plus 50. So all we got to do is evaluate this. Remember, on the left, this is just notation. Don't do anything with this. It just means the cost of getting towed 32 miles. All right, it's just notation. On the right, however, we get to type this in our calculator to get our answer. So second quit gets me back to my main screen. I'm going to do 3.50 times, right, parentheses, 32 plus 50. And this gives me an answer of 162. My answer to this problem is $162.